Hello, I am Muncha Koopas, and joining me today is Tom from 13am Games.
Hello.
And what we're going to do is watch the Bowhemoth run that I did, and we'll talk about it, and this will be my submission video for AGDQ. So if you're ready, Tom, on that play button, I'm ready.
Yep.
Okay, we'll start on go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright.
So, what Runbow is, in general, is a multiplayer platforming game. You can have up to 9 players, and this is one of the game's main single-player modes. It's designed as a gauntlet of really tough platforming levels. This is the story. You were out for a jog, some giant lizard ate you. Escape.
Pretty much, yeah.
So right at the start, we will ground pound because that makes us fall faster. And then we'll get into the first level and some actual platforming. And the main premise of Runbow is the background will swap colors, which will eliminate platforms and other objects in the foreground. So a lot of the challenge just comes from knowing how fast the cycles change and where platforms are going to be. For a while it's just going to be the red and the tan or white. I don't know, people have told me it's pink, but I'm colorblind, so I don't know.
Flesh! We'll go with fleshy.
See, that's what I thought. As for mechanics, Runbow has a double jump and this dash/triple jump. You can also punch things, but I don't do a lot of punching in the Bowhemoth.
Yeah, it's not something we really explore with this kind of atmosphere, at least.
Yeah, but let's see. You can do the dash after either jump, but you can't do jump dash jump. And after you dash, you have to land before you can do anything else. So this
similar.
Oh, go ahead.
Similar to what we. I mean, the main inspiration for that was Smash Bros. So how that works in their game.
Oh, that makes sense. Like you do up B, and then you can't do anything for a second.
You go into like a stasis state, or like down state almost.
Yeah. Most of the levels are, I mean, do them as intended, in quotes, but you can speed them up a little bit. Like this one, you can kind of just dash past everything, if you're good.
Curious, there's a couple that I'm curious to see if you found or not. And I don't know if I should ruin it for you, but
I probably
we'll
didn't.
See.
I have not done any major work on this in some time.
Okay.
I did find, I think I found a way to not skip, but speed up the first vertical level.
Oh yeah?
But I'm honestly not sure, because it seems like I still have to wait at some points, but I think it's still technically faster than waiting for the colors to go up.
You can skip a whole row. Like you can do it basically in 2 sets instead of before having to wait.
Oh. I'll have to
I think. Yeah.
On this level, really the only tech is that I have to be careful to not run off the platforms, so I do this little stutter step to make sure I stay in line with the color that I need. So what were some of your ideas with designing the Bowhemoth? Was it to just test people's gaming prowess?
Yeah, I mean, so during development we were making all the single player and multiplayer levels, just kind of churning through those as we were going, and we realized that a lot of the levels we were making were far more difficult than we thought they were, because as a developer, you know, you're playing the game 8 hours a day, you kind of get jaded to the difficulty curve, so to speak. And what was happening is we had some really cool ideas for level mechanics, and we didn't really have an avenue to like make them really difficult or like explore the kind of fun that comes from like mastering something of a very high difficulty. So the guys kind of like, I pitched the idea of like, yeah, what if we did like a single player mode that was just a gauntlet that like tracked your deaths and like time, and I mean, all the details we kind of worked out as a team about how that was going to go, what the setting was, all these kinds of things, and then kind of left me to my own devices, and I made the gauntlet that is the Bowhemoth. The general principle is like we introduce you to something at kind of like a slower pace, so you'll see the levels kind of come in stages of like 3 or 4. They introduce you to one thing, and then the next one's the same kind of thing but a little harder, and then so on and so forth. So like right now, we've seen this kind of level before where you're talking about teching with the stutter step, but now it's kind of taken to another degree. The platforms are smaller, the colors are moving faster, like that kind of thing. And that's a theme throughout the entire design of the book.
Yeah, I really like it actually.
Thank you.
That way, because that's usually the best way. Like that's the best way to get players to be ready for the higher difficulty, is to give them little tastes at a time.
Yeah, and it was so after we released, it was really rewarding because we were getting people posting their times and their death counts, and we had people like ranging from like the low 20 minutes, which was pretty good on launch, to people that spent like 4 hours trying to beat it with like 600 deaths, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's quite the range.
Yeah, a friend and I actually did a blind race of this about a week after launch.
Oh no.
And we both finished within like 10 seconds of each other, actually, just under 50
Nice.
minutes.
Under 50?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it takes a bit to get used to, but I'm glad that people have kind of like the reception that we've had from it is either angry that like the frustrated kind of like really like frustrated with this, but I'm enjoying it, or like I really it was good to hear.
I actually recorded, my friend had a little meltdown when we were playing. I recorded that. No like swears or bad things were said, but I'll send you that later. It was funny.
That I would love to hear that. Yeah. So actually, looking at the video now, this is kind of one of those first moments where this is the first stage of a series of these kind of rotating spike ball puzzles, and it culminates in one. I think there's only 3 of them. There's this one, the next one, and the last one being the most difficult.
Yeah, because the
platform. You seem to have figured it out. Yeah,
I figured out that you can either try and blaze through the level, and then you'll just die over and over again, or you can just kind of go with this pattern of jump to the white one, jump back to the red one, jump back to the next white one, continue.
I think I think I've done it maybe once or twice, but there is a way to actually, oh, there you go, first death. But there's a way to actually kind of do it if you have to fly by the seat of your pants and get really lucky with some of the timings on the platforms, because they don't disappear right when they disappear. There's like a half second where they're still kind of there, or like 0.25 seconds or whatever it was. So I think if you're fortunate enough and you can actually skip through it a little bit faster than you're doing here, but I mean, it's really inconsistent and hard to do.
Yeah, I've used that. I learned about the platform still being there for a split second.
Right.
Just through playing the game a lot, obviously, but it's really nice because you can like accidentally give yourself a double jump again, and it even works in multiplayer. So people people accuse me of cheating, and then I just explain it to them.
No, I'm just exploiting the hacks. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
There are some levels like this one where I'm not sure if this is the case. It might just be like my game when I play it, but sometimes the colors come in the same cycle, but they seem to cycle at like very slightly different speeds on different playthroughs. Yeah.
Huh.
Because I'll get to the start of the room, like first time through the level, and then I won't go through the purple platform. I'll have to go through the red one, and whereas 90% of the time it's the purple one. Yeah.
Huh.
These levels, it's always the same.
Yeah. Well, we've designed it so there's. I mean, in the multiplayer, there is randomness with the colors. Like, everything is assigned randomly to a degree. There is some minor finicking with it. But in the Bowhemoth, everything is set. Like, the colors are set, the timings are all set, just because we wanted to have something that would foster, a speedrunning community, or, the ability for people to play it and not have different runs or any randomness, because I've watched a little bit of some of the speedruns when like Awesome Games Does Quick has their events. I'll watch a bit and I'll see that they talk a lot about, especially in I really like the Mega Man ones, and when they talk about Mega Man boss fights, and sometimes you get like pattern 1 or pattern 2, and that randomness can throw a whole run, and it's that was something we wanted to avoid. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because everything is set, so maybe it's just something with like a frame rate drop depending on how you've loaded the level. Probably something a little more technical.
To your credit, I noticed very little of this. It's only on a few select levels. I actually found a faster way to do this level, where I just jump from the top of each little set of spikes.
Yes. Yeah. You don't actually ever have to touch the ground.
Yeah. I forget if I ever sent you guys a bug, and I think I did. I like ran off a platform and then got stuck, just running in place on the ground.
Oh yeah, it was on this level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually fixed that. Like the day that we got it, I was like, I went to the level. It was right before. I think it should have been in our last patch. Fix that because there was a collider that was just slightly up from the other ones, and you could actually kind of wedge your character into it. You're actually coming. Oh no, it's not.
No, the level you're thinking of, I think, is soon.
Yes, the hardest segment, probably the one that probably should have been eased up a bit, but I don't know. It's polarizing. People actually really like it, or it's where a lot of people throw in the towel when I've heard, I'm going to be doing Bowhemoth, and they say it on Twitter, and then like half an hour later they're like, I can't beat this part. Oh, I'm sorry.
I cannot believe I died in this level twice.
That's I've never actually had a perfect run yet, and I've played too much of this, and it's something I've strived for, but I've never been able to. It's just I can't deal with like the pressure. Like you get all shaky and stuff. Like the minute you start screwing up, you kind of lose your cool.
Oh,
or I do at
definitely
least.
know how that feels.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the other level where the colors just seem to not be set, because sometimes I'll play through this level and I'll only have to go through the bottom two of the pillars.
Right.
And then other times I'll have to do this where I wait, or I have to go through the top two. I'm not
Right.
sure what causes it, because I've tried figuring it out, but...
Does it always happen the first run? Because it could be something that if you die, reloading the level is a little quicker than loading it for the first time, and therefore you'd kind of get this weird issue where things...
It happens the very first time I enter the level, and even if I die in the level, it just seems to be like not set. I can't think of a better way to describe it. Oh, I forgot.
No,
I had to. This is one level I had to watch another runner to see how they did it.
Oh yeah.
And then I found out that hey, if you just wait like this amount of time,
yeah,
go and mess up the cycle, but you can actually just jump through with the spikes on the same color.
Yeah,
set.
that was a fun little thing I set up there. I made sure that if you were patient, because it's fun too when you're encouraging the player to go through it. You give them a clock, and everybody starts panicking and going fast. It's also fun to kind of put these little things in that encourage careful observation. It's like, oh wait, these are actually the same sequence as the colors coming in the background. Oh, I enjoyed putting those little things in there and seeing people would figure it out, and I'm glad to hear that you did.
And here's the hardest level in the game.
Yep.
I think I did it first try. Nope.
Oh, nope. Yeah. This is fun. We're currently we've announced we are making a 3DS version of the game, and getting this level to run on 3DS is currently what is causing the biggest pain, because it's a little consuming.
Is there just so much on the screen happening?
Yeah, there's just too many things moving at once.
I can see that. Oh well, second try. I'll take second try.
I'm actually curious to see if you figured out the second string of these levels, if you figured out the fast way to do it. There's a pattern where you actually don't have to stop running.
Probably not. Oh, there we see the magic platform tricks.
Magic trick.
By the way, I'm really glad you guys added all these indie game characters, particularly Shovel Knight. Just because I speedrun Shovel Knight. I also speedrun Hyper Light Drifter, but I'm most known for Shovel Knight. And
nice.
I've noticed when I play this game and I'm not Shovel Knight, I get very confused.
That's good to hear.
I'm so used to looking at this character that it's bad.
I mean, that's a part of the good thing about getting those guys on board and having them, cameo in our game. It was really big jump for us to have the permission of such awesome developers to, use their characters and stuff. It was really cool that they let us do that. Okay. Do.
I really like these levels that kind of make you look like you're climbing up a spine.
Yeah, that was when we were, because you're inside of the monster, right? So
Yeah.
we were trying to figure out, like, I wanted to do a vertical level that played off this kind of what I like to call colored wall levels. I don't know. It's not something we do a lot in adventure levels. Pretty difficult thing, but having the colors generate holes that are only temporary, and you have to do what you're doing here. And no, it was just an obvious fit. Like, oh, you're going up a monster, where you're going to go up. Oh, why not his spine or something? Okay. Fortunately, I don't know if it is a spine, but we're just not going to do that.
Then this lizard has lasers in its stomach. I don't.
He ate a jail. That's what I've told people.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't have lasers in my stomach.
That
Maybe
you know
I
of.
do.
Huh? This is really cool. So did you know that this level there's actually a spike wall that's chasing you right now?
I did. I see it every so often, but it's never actually hit me.
That's good. Yeah, the other guys that I work with, QAing it, a lot of the people were like, "Really, you need a spike wall there?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, it is forced." Because otherwise you could sit there and just kind of take your time with it. I wanted to keep a certain level of franticness, so to speak.
Yeah. Especially since you're getting toward the end, which, I mean, as a first-time player, you wouldn't know it, but...
Right. Yeah, that is something I wish I was making the ending feel a little more dramatic, but I think we were coming to the end of our development cycle, and we needed to, stop eating ramen. So we had to get it out the door. And it's one of those things where it's like, I could spend, 2-3 weeks making a cool thing, or we could just hope that no one cares a whole lot, move on with it. So,
well, it's sort of a relief that the last few levels are, I mean, even though I've died on this one twice in this video, they're easier, quote unquote.
Yeah. The one of the major things that I found from QAing this with people in the office was that these little dirt trails that come down from the spike balls that drop from the ceiling right here, the original level didn't have those, and people found that they were dying without knowing. I didn't know a spike ball was about to appear from the ceiling. Little things like that
well, you should have thought
I had to go through and yeah, right. Stuff.
Oh, this is another one of those levels where sometimes I feel the colors are off. Just a hair.
Interesting.
I'll look into it.
Me too, actually.
But now we have, the final climb.
Have you ever died to the acid pit at the end here?
No.
Ah.
I'm thinking if this does get into a GDQ, I will make a donation incentive for that.
See this little awkward triangle that looks kind of out of place at the edge of the pit?
Mm-hmm.
They made me add that just so the jump was easy. It was technically, I think, close to pixel perfect. Nope. That was a good run.
Thank you. Alright. Well, that's it for the run, and I guess for the recording. So, thank you for joining me today, Tom.
No worries.
I will cut the feed.